Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Kirill and today we are going to be working on our vinyasa flow or the flowy type of yoga asanas. The total length time of today's session is going to be 30 minutes and it's going to be kind of like an intermediate or beginner, more on the intermediate type of a level sequence. Having said that, blocks are your friends, so make sure you've got two of them nearby within your reach. As usual, have a bolster or a cushion as well. And we are going to get started. We're gonna start with sitting down, cross-legged sitting, elevating our hips off the floor to give our spine a nice natural curvature that helps us to lengthen it. And we're going to take a few minutes to get grounded. We can't just jump into the practice and do all kinds of funky things. So we need to settle our mind, perhaps even set an intention. So let's take a moment here. Close your eyes, lengthen your spine, roll back your shoulders, lift up your chin, roll back your shoulders one more time. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Hands are resting nice and easy on your knees. Find your breath. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. One more time. Inhale through the nose. Let go through the mouth. Close your mouth. Nasal breathing only from now on. Let's locate your breath in your body. If you're having difficulties connecting with your breath, it's all over the place. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Connect with the natural movement of your body as you're inhaling and exhaling. And start actively breathing in into your hands. It's important that we start our yoga practice with the right set of mind, and it's difficult for most of us to just jump in and get into it. We need to take the time to disconnect, perhaps even to slow down our mind if we had a busy day at work. Put the rest of the things on hold for the next half an hour. Start lengthening your exhalations. So you're inhaling for the same amount of time, but you're taking a little bit longer to exhale. Really stretch that out. Stretch out that exhalation. Inhaling into both hands if you're holding them on your body. Keeping your spine nice and straight. Detaching from the rest of the day. Let's take one deep inhale and one last exhale. Open your eyes. Welcome. Let's get going. Get rid of your bolster if you have one, and we are going to shift into downward dog right away. So find your downward dog. Make sure that your hands are on the same line as your feet. Fingers are nicely spread out. You're grounding through the entire surface of your palm. Pushing
through your shoulders, grounding your heels. Knees can be slightly bent. Let's sway our hips left and right. Let's come up on our toes. Bend the knees, bring your butt towards your heels as if you're going to sprint forward. Extend your knees. Bring your butt against your heels once more. Extend your knees. We're going to do this one more time. Flexing your knees, butt to heels, extending the knees. Drop the heels to the ground or as close as you possibly can. Bend the left knee and bend the right knee. Let's bend them one after the other. Pressing the heel into the ground as we're straightening the knee. Just a few more rounds of breath here. Let's bring our shoulders just over our hands in a circular motion clockwise. And then counterclockwise. Coming back to downward dog, bend your knees and walk your feet towards your hands. Slowly rolling up, tucking our chin into our chest to avoid that lightheadedness that some of us may experience. So, we're going to start with sun salutations just to warm up our body to make sure we get this warm and energized feeling head to toe. So, start with facing the front of the mat. Find your mountain pose. Actively roll back your shoulders. Turn your palms so that they're facing forward. Inhale, lengthen to the sky. Exhale, hinging at the hips like a door, folding all the way down and forward. Inhaling into flat back, press your palms into your shins. Really press them so that you can lengthen your spine. Exhale, folding forward. Let's step back into plank. Now this is an intermediate level class, so we can use our skills to do a chaturanga here. So lowering through a chaturanga push-up, slithering into upward dog, and exhaling into downward dog. Bend your knees and let's walk our feet towards our hands. Inhale into flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Reach to the sky. Place your hands together and bring them to your chest. Round number 1 is done. Let's keep moving. Inhale, lengthen, stretch all the way to the sky and keeping your shoulders nicely and relaxed. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale into flat back. Exhale, folding forward, stepping back into plank. Help with your knees if you have to. You can always drop down on your knees. Lowering through chaturanga. Inhaling into upward dog. Exhale, extending the knees. We are in downward dog. Bend your knees. Walk your feet towards your hands. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen, reach to the sky. Connect the palms together. Bring them to your chest. Round number 2 is done. We have one more to go. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lengthen into flat back. Really make that back nice and flat. Exhale, folding forward. Let's step back into plank. Elbows hugging the rib cage, lowering through chaturanga. Inhaling into upward dog. Exhaling into downward dog. Roll over your toes if you can. Bend your knees and walk your feet towards your hands. Inhale into flat back. We're going to hold this for 5 breaths. As you are pressing your palms into your shins, lengthen that spine all the way from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Slightly look forward. And most importantly, do not forget to breathe. Take a moment here to find your breath. Remember, we are breathing through the nose. In and out. On the next exhalation, folding forward. Inhale, Reach to the sky, connect the palms together, bring them to your chest. Round number 3 is done. Let's keep moving. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, we are folding forward. Inhale into flat back once more, exhaling, folding forward again, stepping back into plank. Let's do a vinyasa here, so chaturanga or elbows to the rib cage push up. Inhale into upward dog. Notice that the pelvis is hovering off the floor. Exhale into downward dog. Let's take our right leg and step it in between the hands. We're going to come up into high lunge. Make sure you have a nice 90-degree angle here in your bent knee, that the knee is not hovering or extending over your heel. You want to make sure you make that adjustment. We don't want any unnecessary injuries to our knees. Inhale, lengthen, raise your hands, relax your shoulders. Holding this for 5 breaths. Keep that back knee nice and straight, toes dug in, heel off the floor. Listen carefully on the next exhalation. We are going to pivot the back foot at a 45-degree angle. The entire foot is on the mat. We are going to make sure that our hips are pivoting forward. Inhaling, we're maintaining our hand position. Warrior 1. 5 breaths here. I'm obviously exaggerating my breathing as a reminder so for you to breathe on your own. And on the next exhalation, the back foot is rotating so that the back edge of the foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. Opening our hips to the side, warrior 2. Sinking a little bit deeper into that front knee. 5 breaths here. The gaze goes right there to the front of the room. On the next exhalation, we're going to cartwheel our hands to the floor, pivoting on the back foot, stepping back into plank, lowering through chaturanga, inhaling, upward dog, rolling over our toes into downward dog. Take your left leg, step it in between the hands, and let's come up into high lunge. Find your balance here. You feel free to make the stance as wide as you need it so that you can get your balance. Bending the front knee. 5 breaths here. On the next exhalation, dropping that back heel and pivoting the foot 45-degree. Keeping the hands where they are. Hips are still pointing forward. Sink a little bit deeper into that front knee. Torso is nice and straight. 5 breaths. On the next exhalation, rotating our hips sideways. The foot is at a 90-degree angle, opening up into warrior 2. As you're holding warrior 2, make sure that that knee, the front knee, doesn't drift inwards. Work to get that knee towards your pinky. Excellent. On the next exhalation, cartwheel your hands to the floor, pivoting on the back foot. Very important, so that the foot is on our toes. Stepping back into plank, lowering through chaturanga. Inhaling into upward dog, exhaling into downward dog. Let's take 2 breaths here. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. We're going to continue. Take your right leg, step it in between the hands. open up into warrior one. So the back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Hips are pivoting forward. Find your arms here. Holding this for 5 breaths. On the next exhalation, drop the hands to your sides. Extend the front knee. Reach forward as far as you can with your hand without moving your hips. This is where you grab your block. So have a block nearby. Place it on the inside of your foot. Drop your hand down to the floor on the block and open up into triangle. If you do not have a block, you have an option of placing your hand on your ankle, never on your knee. Holding this for 3 more breaths. On the next exhalation, let's bend the front knee. Take your left hand, open it so that the thumb is pointing upwards and bring it across your head, extending it into an extended side angle. If this is too much for you, you can point your hand towards the sky or drop it onto your hip, keeping the bend in the knee, supporting our body weight with that right hand. As you're holding this pose, take a moment here and pivot and open your chest, open your ribs to the sky. Holding this for 2 more breaths. On the next exhalation, returning the hand back to your hip, straighten that front knee, pivoting our body sideways into a side stance. So now that we're sitting facing the side of the mat, placing the hand on our hips, making sure that the hips are nice and level, and then slowly folding forward, supporting our body weight with our hands. Feel free to adjust your stance as wide as you need to and start folding forward even more with your head. Here you can grab a block and you can place it directly under your face. Pick the height that you want, and you can even take a variation here. Place your forehead on the block and place your hand on your ankles. I'm going to hold this pose for 10 more breaths. If at any point you feel that you need to come out of this pose, do so and transition into child pose and connect with the rest of us whenever you feel ready. On the next exhalation, place your hands on the floor and use them to prop yourself up into standing. So we're still in a wide stance, very slowly coming out of it. We're going to turn the other way around. So now you're going to be facing the back of your mat. Find your warrior one. Take that block, put it next to you, to the inside of your other foot. So find your warrior one. Rotate your hips so that they're facing the front or the back of your mat. Sink a little bit deeper into that front knee. Hands to the sky. 5 breaths.
On the next exhalation, let's straighten that front knee, reaching forward as far as we can, dropping the hand on the block, and let's open up into triangle. Take a moment here to tune in into your breath. Actively listen to yourself breathing. On the next exhalation, dropping the hand to the hip, bending the front knee. Take that hand, thumb is facing up, and bring it over your head. I like to call breath as the secret sauce of yoga. It connects our mind with our body. When we are working on our asanas, it is a perfect time to explore that connection through the power of breath. So a lot of my cueing is centered on connecting with the breath, no matter what the type of pose that you're doing, whether you're standing on your head or doing something that we're doing right now. You always want to take a moment here and connect with your body through your breath. Hear yourself breathing. Notice the qualities of your breath. Are you panting? Are you running out of breath? That's a signal to take it easy. One more breath here. Slowly coming back. Hand on the hip. Straighten the front knee. Pivoting back sideways. So we're facing sideways once again. Folding forward through the hips. This time around, let's grab our hand. Interlock the fingers. Squeeze the shoulder blades and palms together. Folding forward. You can have your knees here slightly bent. Holding this for 10 breaths. On the next exhale, release the hands to the floor. Support yourself while you're coming up, bending your knees at the same time, protecting our knee joints. Shifting all the way back to the front of the mat, cartwheeling your hands. Pivoting on the back foot, let's get rid of that block. Stepping back into plank, lowering through chaturanga. Inhaling into upward dog, exhaling into downward dog. This is a short practice. We're not taking a break here. Let's raise our right leg to the sky, one-legged dog here. Find a nice and straight form. So we're not shifting to one side, losing control. Everything is nice and controlled. Take a moment here and slowly bring that foot in between the hands. We're going to come up into warrior two right away. So the back foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat. Let's recline into a reclined warrior. At the same time, sink a little bit deeper into that front knee. Open your rib cage to the sky. You should be able to feel the gaps in between your ribs opening and closing as you're breathing. On the next exhalation, we are going to transition. Two variations here. You can drop your elbow on the front knee, reach over your head. Variation number one. If you want to engage your core, peel that elbow off your knee and stick it out in front of you as if you're begging for something. Holding this for 5 breaths. You're begging for a little bit more energy in this pose. A little bit more strength in your quads. On the next exhalation, slowly returning back into warrior two. Let's straighten that front knee. Take a bit of a break here. On the next exhalation, going deep into that front knee once again. This time around, we're going to interlock the hands behind our back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. We are going to pivot into a warrior one position. So the back foot is at a 45-degree angle, hips are rotating forward. We are going to lean forward, so folding forward. You can stay here with your chest on your thigh, or you can slightly rotate inwards and lean past your thigh all the way down to the floor into what's called a humble warrior. Five breaths. Keeping the form. Breathing through the nose. And on the next exhale, unlock your hands, drop them to the mat, pivoting on the back foot, stepping back into plank, lowering through chaturanga, inhaling, upward dog, exhaling, downward dog. We've got about 6 more minutes to go, so let's raise our left leg, step it in between the hands, coming up into warrior two on the other side. Make sure to work that quad. Sink a little bit deeper. Extend your hands. Hold this. 5 breaths. Make sure you're not leaning forward too much or you're not shifting back. Find that nice 90-degree angle between your torso and the front thigh. On a next exhalation, reclining into a reclined warrior. Feel the gaps in between your ribs, closing and opening. Actively breathe in into that space. Feel your belly filling up. Use the abdominal core muscles to squeeze the air out of your belly. On the next exhalation, we are going to extend that front knee. Take a bit of a pressure here from our thigh. Not for long though. Bend it. Drop the elbow to the knee. Extend our arm over our head. And if you're with me, if you have energy left, peel that elbow away from the knee. 5 breaths here. One last breath here. Slowly coming back into warrior two. Cartwheel your hands to the floor. Pivot on the back foot. Stepping back into plank. Excellent work. Lowering through chaturanga. Inhale into upward dog. Exhale into downward dog. Bend your knees. Walk your feet towards your hands. Cross them at the ankles and drop down to sitting on the floor. Whew. I hope you felt that, because I certainly felt it myself. Let's bend the right knee towards our groin. Step it over your foot. Bend the other knee. And let's come up into twist into the right into half Lord of the Fishes pose. Hugging that knee into our chest. Lengthening through our spine. So the standing sequences or the standing poses that we just did in this practice not only strengthen our legs, but they also open up our hips and are an absolute prerequisite for any type of sitting hip opener sequences, which we're not gonna get into them today, so perhaps some other time.
Just holding this for 3 more breaths. And on the next exhalation, slowly coming back to the center. Let's switch sides. One excellent tip here is before you go into a twist, reach as high as you can with your top arm and only then start hugging that knee into your chest. I like to place my back support hand on my fingertips to give me that additional height in the spine. And as I'm growing tall, I inhale, and as I exhale, I surrender into the twist. Three more breaths on this side, and we're going to make way for Shavasana. Everybody's favorite yoga pose. Slowly coming back to sitting and then extending all the way down on the floor, relaxing your body, palms facing up, soften your jaw, soften your face. Nobody can see you right now, so let your face hang loose. Slightly open your mouth. And let your mind wander for a few minutes. Let's take 5 more breaths. And I'm gonna start slowly get ready for stepping back into our life from the mat, or life beyond the mat. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, roll your neck side to side, stretch your arms over your head, lengthen the head to toe. Inhale, clench and hold. Exhale, release everything that you've got. Slowly transition to sitting on your butt, cross-legged. Lengthen your spine, bring your hands to your chest, bow your head. Thank you for practicing with me. It's been a pleasure working and hosting the session for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye. Namaste.